So, a Greek philosopher once said, there is only one constant thing in our life, and that is change. Our lives are changing. They have been changing for all these times we have been on this earth. And mine is no different. I have gone through evolutions, changes, before I reach here in front of you to talk about myself. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, today I'll be taking you through my journey, which I call life, which all of us call life, and I'll be sharing some of the insight and some of the stories which I made as I grew, as I learned. I was born in a family which was supposed to be a farmer, but they were now migrant workers living in Surat, working as a textile maintenance guys. Life was not easy for them as I was born, and they feared that I might not get the education, the nutrition, all those essential things we need in our lives living in a slum. So they asked my grandfather, who lived in a village working as a primary teacher, to take me back to the village. And that's where I grew up. I was privileged to grow up in a village, around granaries, farms, having fresh food, but away from my parents. When I was born, my parents thought I'll be the light of their life. So they called me Deepak. So that was my first name, that's how I was called. But my grandfather has this very connoisseur thing with naming people or renaming people if needed. And he got me admitted in the school named Avinash, the Invincible. And that is how I am known today. But what is my identity? Today, as I speak in front of you, who am I? Am I the light of the lives of my parents, the Deepak? Or am I the Avinash, which my grandfather would like to call, the Invincible? I think maybe I'm both, or I'm none, or I'm more than that. I read somewhere in a book which said, we are the people we meet, the places we visit, the food we eat, the smell we experience. So am I the same Avinash or Deepak, or through the evolution of times I have changed and I have a new identity? Today I recognize myself as a waste warrior, living in Dehradun, working in this very young organization full of young people, trying to change, trying to clean up India bit by bit, one mountain at a time, one city at a time, and one jungle at a time. A few years back, I was a globe racer, running around all over the country, finding routes, living close to the nature, bringing people to experience through sports, while living a sustainable life. Just before a couple of years of that, I was an engineer, a computer science guy, a techie guy, just staring at the screen, getting things done, very efficient, staying awake late nights, partying, playing a lot of games. But all of that started with something else. That was love for learning. The love of learning made me what I am today. When I was in the village trying to learn something, I was very fascinated by languages, specifically English. I would go through fruit cartons and find wrappers, like apple will be wrapped in newspapers, and I'll find words there. And I'll try to learn some of it. And then once I found a computer and I was like, wow, that's a machine. You can paint on it, type on it, do anything. That's how I jumped into engineering. And then while I was an engineer, I was still bad at language. And that's how I got into a non-profit space where you can be whatever you are, contribute whatever skill you have. Be confident and feel good about yourself. So this love of learning kept driving me what I am. Today, I recognize myself cheesily as a dreamer. as a doer and a very quick learner. That is what I am. I love the idea of Almighty, but I don't know if there is one God. But I go to temples, I go to churches, I go to mosques, and I come to Toastmasters. Why? Because I love the idea of communal living. A place where people come together for a social cause, for learning, growing, and living together. And that is how I recognize myself again, a community member. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Avinash and I'm a Toastmaster. Thank you for listening to me, and you have been a great patient audience listening to my 6 minutes long speech. Thank you.